Welcome. Welcome to morning meditation. Apologies, I started this meditation and got 7 minutes in and then realized it hadn't gone live. So my apologies. I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties today. But I'm happy to be here with you nonetheless. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Alexandra Purdy, and this meditation is on embodiment in the moment. I'm going to start, as I usually do, with a short poem. Today we opened our eyes and took in the light of creation. Today and every day, our hearts beat strong and constant. Today we make our world with our hands and feet, fashioning our days with matter and imagination. We smell spring flowers and come back to what is, this singular day in this wonder of a body. I don't know about you, but when I'm caught in my thoughts, I often forget I have a body. It's easy to sort of get caught in our minds, which can be spinning in a million directions at once, into both the past and the future, things that happened a long time ago, things that may never happen. And when we're caught in our minds in this way, time can feel like is speeding up, and that we can feel like a level of anxiety from sort of being caught in our spinning thoughts. The body, however, can only ever be in this one moment. And so the body is a great tool for presence and for embodiment, for remembering we're here on this earth in a body. So notice while we do this meditation, let's start by noticing how we're feeling right now. Notice, I'm going to close my eyes and I welcome you to join me if that feels comfortable to you. Just notice how you're feeling in this moment. You notice what speed it feels like you're going at. Now let's come back to the present moment. Notice where you are in time and space. Notice what day it is, what time it is, where you are. And next, let's notice the feeling of our feet on the floor, or whatever they're resting on. See if you can feel the texture of whatever your feet are touching. Maybe they're inside your socks and shoes, or maybe touching a hardwood floor, or maybe on a nubby carpet. Just feel that sensation with your feet. And let that sensation bring you back to this moment. Next, if your hands are in your lap, notice the feeling there. Maybe there's a feeling of pressure or a spreading warmth or coolness. Next, notice the sensation where your body touches what you're sitting or lying down on. You might notice again a pressure or a tingling, the weight of gravity. There's no right answer. Just notice for you the sensations you're aware of where your body touches what you're sitting or lying down on. Next, let's imagine that we have a tiny string attached to the top of our head, drawing us ever so slightly taller and straighter. Next, let's take a few deep breaths, breathing deeply in and then deeply out, allowing our exhale to be a little bit longer than our inhale. Next, let's do a body scan, starting at the top of our head and moving down bit by bit throughout our body, noticing if there are any feelings of tightness or tension, any sense of ache or pain. Moving from our head through our body to our toes, just notice bit by bit how your body is feeling right now. And if you do notice any places that are feeling tight or painful, see if you can direct your kind attention toward those places. And notice if that gives you even the minutest feeling of opening or soothing or relief just from the compassionate noticing, just from allowing it to be as it is. This is really what embodiment is: noticing what's happening in your body, giving it our attention and allowing it to be as it is. And then noticing what happens next. Sometimes just the attention allows the experience to shift. But also, we can direct our compassionate attention in our own sense of soothing toward our body if we're noticing anything that needs soothing. So, next, notice how you're feeling emotionally and what physical sensations you might be feeling as a result. So, for instance, if you're feeling a little bit nervous about something, notice what physical sensations give you the hint that that's what's happening. Or if you're feeling calm or relaxed or sad or angry, there are physical sensations flowing through our body that give us indications of what emotions we're feeling. And this is all just information. None of this, we're not giving any of this our attention so that we can judge it. We're just giving it our attention so that we can notice what's going on in our experience and see how we might relate to it. Often, when we're feeling something we wish we weren't, we resist it with all our might. We wish it weren't happening, and we fight it in even subtle ways that we're not necessarily aware of. So, by giving our bodies our attention and noticing what's arising for us, allowing them to be, and then If necessary, offering ourselves the soothing that we'd offer a friend or a child or a loved one, rather than fighting it or offering resistance, can have an effect on how we're feeling. So while you were noticing how you're feeling emotionally or physically, if anything arose that you noticed felt uncomfortable or different than you might have hoped, let's see if we can offer ourselves the compassion that we'd offer to someone else. And let's start with our touch. So you can find a way to use your touch in a way that's soothing. You can put your hand on your heart, you can put a hand to your face or both hands. You can sort of wrap yourself in a hug. Just notice what feels good to you. For me, I really like the hand on the heart. So, whatever was arising that could use some soothing, we can talk to ourselves either out loud or in our heads in a way that we would to a cherished friend. And say something like, I'm here for you. I know what you're going through. I know what you're feeling, and you're not alone. You might say, I'm here for you. I have your back. It's going to be okay. I love you. And notice how this feels in your body. In the beginning, if we're used to talking to ourselves in a critical way, this can feel unusual. It can feel weird. Um, Over time, as we practice with it, it gets more comfortable. And we may find that over time, our inner voice that we walk around with throughout our day becomes more compassionate and soothing if we speak to ourselves in this way. So just notice how it feels for you today. And if it feels weird, offer yourself compassion for that too. And you might take note of the fact that maybe you're used to a harsher internal voice, and might notice a desire to shift that with practice. Next, let's notice the information we're getting from our senses. If you have your hand to your chest or on your face or elsewhere in a soothing manner, notice how that feels. Notice the pressure or tingling, the coolness or warmth. You might also notice what else you feel. Maybe you feel the pressure where you're sitting. Maybe you feel your clothing on your skin or the passing breeze on your skin. Maybe you feel your hair on the back of your neck. Just notice the details for you. Next, notice what you can hear beyond my voice. Maybe there are sounds in other rooms. Maybe you hear traffic or a plane going by. Maybe there's music in the distance or people talking. Maybe you hear the hum of air conditioning or electricity. Next, let's notice what we smell. Maybe there's a candle burning, or you can smell your own cologne or perfume. Maybe there are flowers nearby or a fire burning. Maybe you aren't aware of any particular scent in the air. Next, let's notice what we can taste. Maybe the last thing you ate or drank, or a hint of mouthwash or toothpaste. Maybe you're not aware of any particular taste at the moment. Next, we're going to open our eyes briefly, not to look at anything too intently, but to scan the room. Just notice what colors or textures or light or shadow you're aware of. And then close your eyes again and see what you're aware of having just seen. Now let's notice how we're feeling as a whole. Notice your sense of time and how it compares to when we began meditating. Notice if you have a sense of things having slowed down a little bit. I often notice this when I pay attention to my senses one at a time. We're often taking so much information in at once that noticing each sense gives me a feeling of really having slowed down. And that's a tool to use, by the way, if you ever find yourself feeling anxious. You can come back to your senses, which I love. I mean, that's a saying that really means something. We really can come back to our senses and come back to the moment, come out of our minds, and notice what our body is feeling in this moment. The only place our body can exist. Our body can't exist in the past or the future. It can only exist in the present. And so it's such a helpful tool for coming back to the moment. Let's take a few more deep breaths, breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth, extending the out breath to be a little bit longer than the in breath. Scientists have found that breathing in this way has a soothing effect on our nervous system. So notice if you feel any hint of that in your body. I'm going to go back now and read the poem that I read at the beginning of our time together, and notice if it strikes you any differently, or if you notice any details differently now that we've been meditating. Today, we opened our eyes and took in the light of creation. Today and every day, our hearts beat strong and constant. Today, we make our world with our hands and feet, fashioning our days with matter and imagination. We smell spring flowers and come back to what is, this singular day in this wonder of a body. I think, like so many other things in life that is with us all the time, we often take our body for granted. As I said, I forget I have a body. I get caught in my mind and I'm running through my to-do list, moving from one thing I need to do to the next, and I forget that I have a body. But our bodies are such gifts, such wonders. I mean, even the idea of senses and of all the information we're able to glean from our environment, and that we do it all day, all 5 senses at a time, without even noticing. This is how we hear the people we love. It's how we hear music. It's how we smell flowers. It's how we feel the touch of a loved one, or our clothing on our skin, or the passing breeze. It really is all such a wonder, and it's easy to forget this as a human being because there's so much else going on. So the opportunity to come back to our senses, to come back to our body, and to notice, even if we're experiencing an ailment or an illness, still our bodies are functioning all day, every day to keep us alive. Our hearts are beating, we're breathing without thinking about it. Even if there's one part of our body that isn't functioning optimally, there are so many others that are. Our fingernails are growing. We're able to see, we're able to take in the wonders of the world around us. If we're able to walk and move without pain, what a gift that is. So these bodies of ours are worth coming back to. They're worth remembering. They're worth noticing. It can be easy to focus, and our brains are built to focus on what's going wrong. Evolutionarily, it could save us, could save our lives to focus on the one thing going wrong in our environment. But there are other ways to practice using our attention, because I think we've all noticed that going from noticing one problem to another isn't the most enjoyable way to walk through life. So before we finish this meditation, actually, let's take a moment for gratitude. In the course of our time together, we've noticed a lot of different things. A lot of physical sensations. And the ability to do this, to glean this information from our bodies, from our environment, is such a gift. Even the ability to feel pain helps us. It can help us figure out that there's a problem and do what we can to ameliorate it. So let's see if we can take a moment to find 3 to 5 things about our body that we feel grateful for. Maybe for our sight, maybe for our heart that beats all day and has since our birth without us needing to direct it or think about it in any way. Maybe our skin that's able to feel our environment. Maybe we're grateful for something we smelled recently, or a favorite song, or the sound of being able to hear the sound of a loved one's voice. Let's take a moment to offer gratitude to our body. Thank you for all the work you do. It often goes unnoticed. You are a gift. I'm so grateful for all that you do. Notice how that feels in your body. The feeling of offering gratitude. Back to it. Back to yourself. It's nice to be thanked, right? It's nice to remember some of the gifts that we have that often go unnoticed. Maybe we could try to notice a little bit more. Maybe we can try to come back to our body, come back to our senses a little more often. I am grateful for you being here with me today. Thank you so much for your presence and your time. I wish you a happy rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you back here soon.